If you're looking to build a new construction home in today's real estate market, then you need to watch this video. Today, I'm going to cover the problems that we're seeing in new construction when getting into contract, while in contract, and also the problems we're seeing once you close on your home. My name's Thomas, and I work with Keller Williams here in St. Augustine. And if you're looking for more information like that, make sure you tap that subscribe button below, like the video, and comment if you have any additional questions that I might be able to answer. If you're looking for any further assistance, I do have a Calendly link below where you can schedule a 30-minute Zoom appointment with me and my preferred lender. Now, the first problem I want to talk about is that in today's new construction market, there are no quick move-in homes. So if you're looking to go on site, see a model, and possibly move into the house within a month or a couple of weeks, that's just not possible in our local market. Maybe in some other places that's a possibility, but here in northeastern Florida, the closest thing to move into is going to be 4 to 6 months out. So that causes a big problem for a lot of buyers who need to relocate immediately. And also it's something that you need to plan for if you are looking to do new construction, because they may say 4 to 6 months out, but there's things that can delay the process and there's things that can speed up the process. With today's supply chain, that's kind of the big hinge point on why they're having so many problems. Now, a lot of this is based off of price point. If you're above that $500,000 mark, a lot of these builders are still allowing you to go to the design center. So you can go and pick your lot, you pick your home, the model you want, and then you also pick all of your upgrades. And under that $500,000 mark, they've really pretty much eliminated any choice so that they can bring homes quickly to the market to the majority of people that are looking to buy. Most of your buyers are going to be in that $300,000 to $500,000 range. So if you are looking to build a new construction home and you're under that $500,000 mark, you may be able to find a home that's move-in ready in 3 to 4 months. 3 being very lucky if you're able to find that, and 4 months is probably going to be about the average. If you're looking to build a house over $500,000 and you want to pick your option, there are some spec options as well where you can just move into a home that the builder has designed. But if you're looking to go to the design center and pick the lot, pick the floor plan, and pick your upgrades, then you should definitely expect on an 8 to 10 month build out time. I was just at Toll Brothers in Beacon Lake today, and they're at a 14-month build time. Now, these are much bigger homes that are sitting on 74-foot lots that are going to go for just under 800 to maybe $1 million, depending on what package you're going with, what lot you're going with. So they're going to be 14 months out. That's a considerable amount of time. One of the other major problems I wanted to talk about is that some communities, depending on demand, are limited to how many lots they're able to sell. They may have 15, 20 lots available that are available to sell, but they're restricted by how many they can actually sell that month. So I was talking to one builder just a couple weeks ago, and they're limited to selling 2 lots for the entire month, and that's across everyone. So they're not allowed to actually move a whole bunch of product. And then what happens is everyone that's interested in those lots gets put on a wait list. So when that lot is available to be sold, they say, hey, you can put in your bid now for this house. And then everyone puts in their highest and best and they move forward with the one they feel most comfortable with. So that is a big problem in our market. And it is of course community specific, because each community has a demand different, really. The communities with the amenities have their own demand. The communities without amenities have their own demand. So it just really depends. It's community specific. Also, one thing that is becoming more and more common amongst new construction, whereas it used to be a first come, first serve basis, a lot of them are moving to a bidding war or highest and best price. That's not necessarily the best information for you, because you just want to pay the price that they're offering, like it's always been. But in today's world, we're not seeing that. I was actually talking to one specific builder who said that most of their offers are cash offers, and that they're expecting on average for people to go 10 to 20% above the price that they have advertised.
No, God, please, no, no!
Now, once again, that is for specific builders and specific communities, but that is definitely one of the biggest problems that we're running into. Is some people don't even want to deal with that. They like the people that are saying, hey, this is the price and this is what you're going to pay, and there's no changes to that. They don't want to have to possibly throw a number out there where they're paying way more than the next person and there's no way to know how. And I understand that sentiment. So those were all the problems about getting into contract. If you do have any other questions about what I've covered so far, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I know there are some questions out there about getting into contract and how difficult that might be. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. Now for this next section, we're going to cover things that you need to know about getting into contract. And that's really the hardest part in today's market, right? Getting into contract. We're seeing on average, most buyers are putting 5 to 6 offers to get to one contract, and that's across everything. So So even though you might have a lot that you're interested in and maybe there's no interest at that point, things can change. I had a buyer who was looking at a villa in a 55 plus community and there was no one interested in it and they were only allowed to sell 2 lots a month. So the following month, it became available and he said, hey, we're letting every interested party know that if you want to put an offer in on this property, then it's the time to do it because we're able to sell. My buyer, luckily, had already gotten under contract on something, a resale that came up within the same new construction community. So it worked out for them. Now, one of the main problems, and I'm sure some of you heard those horror stories about new construction and escalation clauses. That was never a part of new construction contracts really before the pandemic and before the increases in lumber prices that we saw during 2020 and 2021. So that really spurred a whole bunch of different things that builders were trying to do in order to mitigate their costs and of course, so they can get as much profit out as possible. Now, a lot of builders are still putting escalation clauses into their contracts, but because of how the market's changed and pricing's changed, they've essentially made it to where they're making a good bit of money to where the escalation clause shouldn't really come into effect in today's market. Is it possible that it's still in there? Yes. But are they really going to enact it? I don't think that's going to happen, but it's still a possibility. There are certain things to know about escalation clauses as well. Every builder is a little bit different, but just to give you an example, there's a certain builder that they'll write an escalation clause in there and they're willing to eat pretty much any cost up to 5%. Once it goes over that 5% though, if it hits 6, 7, 8%, then they push that cost back onto the buyer. And you would think, okay, well, that's not so bad. If it's 7% difference in cost, they cover 5, I'll cover 2. That's just not how it works. They're agreeing to cover it up to 5. If it goes any above that, then you're going to be responsible for that whole difference. So for everything. So that 5 and that 2%, that entire 7%, you would be responsible for as a buyer. That's just one example of how some of these contracts are written. So it's really important to go over that contract, read it, and understand it with your agent. Have you had any issues getting into contract here in the area? Let me know in the comments. The next problem that we're seeing, and this was more of last year, and hopefully it doesn't keep continuing through this year as I feel that building and timelines have gotten slightly better since last year. But one of the problems that we're seeing is that in the contract, builders write it, and it's pretty standard amongst all builder contracts, even before COVID, that they have up to 2 years to build your house. Now, like I said, it's pretty standard, but in the worst case scenario, you're not trying to wait 2 years. And most of the time, the builder is not trying to wait 2 years either. They're trying to get it done as soon as possible, make you a happy customer, you leave them a great review, more people buy from them. That's the game they're in. One of my buyers signed their contract in December of 2020. And of course, in 2021, we saw the inflation of lumber go up, up, and up. They locked in a contract without an escalation clause and before the prices really started to appreciate. So what had happened is that the builder waited to start building their home. So homes that weren't even available, lots that were not even available when my people went under contract, were built and had people living in them before my people even got to framing. Now, of course, my buyers were not happy about this situation, but the contract states that they have up to 2 years to build your house, and how they do it is based on their own personal process. So you can't really do too much about it, and it's really frustrating and annoying when you're seeing people moved into a house that signed contracts after you. But what the builder did, and they're never going to admit this, of course, but what they did is the people who paid the higher price, while they calculated for that difference in inflation, they also added an escalation clause. The builder decided, I'm going to build these guys' houses first because they paid a higher price for the house. Lumber's at a higher price. When lumber starts to go down, I'll finish this person's house who paid the lower price. So it's an unfortunate situation, but it definitely can happen. I think it's probably unlikely moving forward considering how inflation has gone with the lumber pricing. We're now back down, thankfully, but something to know. The next problem I wanted to talk about is the money you're going to leave to bind the contract. So that depends on price point largely, but it could be from anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 to $100,000, if you're buying, $1 million house. It really just depends on builder, community, and the price of the home. Most of the time, it's going to be a contract binder of $5,000. I've seen a lot going up to 20% now, or 20% of lot upgrades and floor plan of the home. So it just depends on the specific builder. And that's really where having an agent that knows the questions to ask and what builders are doing what in the area, that's really the strength of using an agent in today's new construction market. Now, the one thing you should do before going into contract, whether using cash or whether using financing, is to ask these questions. If you're using cash, are there any incentives for me using cash? They typically don't have too many incentives for people that are buying straight out in cash. Besides, they may give you a $5,000 to $10,000 price reduction off the purchase price, or maybe some, if you're looking to buy, a bigger home with, you're going to the design center, they may give you a credit in the design center. If you are utilizing financing, then they're more than likely going to pay for your closing costs if you use their preferred lender. So a lot of companies have an umbrella company where they have their own lender that's attached to it. Essentially, they refer all the new construction business to this lender, and the lender essentially will pay for your closing costs if you use them. So every builder has a different partnership with a different lender, but pretty much all of them offer one of those incentives. Okay, so now we get into contract. So that's great. We're in contract. We're doing something that a lot of people aren't able to do in this market. We're in contract. There's definitely going to be some problems while we're in contract. Like I've said it before, with new construction, the main thing to think while moving forward is going to be patience. You need to have patience because there's going to be issues. There's going to be delays for things that I can't control, things that you can't control, and things that the sales rep at the office, he definitely can't control, or she can't control either. One of these problems, one of these delays could be the supply chain. I have a buyer who went under contract on a townhome several months ago, and he was supposed to close in June. It's now been pushed to the first couple weeks of July, but that got pushed because of a delay of a sliding glass door being put in. Because they weren't able to put the door in, they're not able to create a controlled environment inside, so they can't start on the finishing of the product. So they can put the drywall up and everything, but they can't really do the mud, the paint, they can't put the cabinets, the flooring in, because all of that needs to be in a temperature controlled environment. The next problem that we're seeing is that all of these builders are having trouble keeping labor on their job sites. And that's also because it's a change in our total environment here. Contractors, laborers have more leverage in the market than they've had ever before really in this area. There's such a demand for their services that they can say builder A doesn't want to pay me $30 an hour. Well, builder B will pay me $30 an hour if I go to their job site today. So I'm just going to go work for builder B today and just drop what I'm doing over here at builder A. A lot of these builders are also batching work. So, whenever they have the framers come out, they're having the framers come out and knock out 10, 20 houses. Then they're going to have the drywall come out and knock out 10, 20 houses. The garage door guy is going to come out, the windows guys, all at the same time, they're going to knock out 10, 20 houses. If that guy doesn't show up, that throws off a lot of different things. Just like I said with the sliding glass door, if one of those things doesn't happen, then that throws off their whole process of building homes. And just like you and me, another problem that these builders are going to have is that they're just going to make mistakes. They're under a high stress environment right now. The supply chain is something they've never dealt with before. They're dealing with me calling them, emailing them every single day. They're also dealing with disgruntled buyers and sales agents at the local office that have to talk to the disgruntled buyers. They're making some mistakes. It's definitely happened out there. I've talked about one of my buyers in previous videos where the cabinets got installed and they're a different type of cabinets. So they had to order cabinets all over again. That takes 8 weeks, and that held up a whole bunch of other things in the process, which caused them some financial concern because it's delaying them from closing. They locked their rate. So in order to extend that, it's gonna cost them some money, which is a total negative for my buyer, and it really sucks, but we're trying to figure out what we can do and try to amend that situation, but it's been tough. And the last thing we wanted to cover are problems that you're going to see once you close. Now, the builder, when you're at closing, they're gonna tell you, hey, you're gonna find some things that we didn't see on our final walkthrough. On your final walkthrough, you're gonna go through with the blue tape, you're gonna mark up everything, I'm gonna be marking up everything. You can be really, really nitpicky with it, and it's amazing how much work they'll get done within a couple of days or within 24 hours when it comes to closing on a home. The builder is going to give you a sheet, and every builder is a little bit different on how they do it, but they're gonna say, hey, in 90 days, write down every single problem that you have, every little thing, be nitpicky about it, and in 90 days, we'll have a crew come out and we'll come and take care of everything in one foul swoop. The reason they're doing that is because whenever you move into a house, there's going to be things that you're gonna miss. So they don't want you calling for every little tiny thing every time you find something wrong with your new construction house. So what they wanna do is they wanna batch the work. They wanna make sure they get all your problems in a line item, get one guy out there for a day, knocks everything out, and then you're happy, they're happy, everyone's happy. Another problem we're seeing after you close is that sometimes the builder wants to close on your home before everything in your home is completed. Now, it's not going to be anything that's going to keep you from living in your home. You're going to have working plumbing, AC, your stove, all that good stuff. But it could be maybe some tiles are missing in your shower. Maybe the oven hasn't been delivered yet, so they're going to give you a over-the-counter conventional oven just so you can use it until your actual oven gets installed. These are things that are happening in today's market. They're just adjusting with it. Guys, and that is it. I hope you gained a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of insight into the problems that new construction is seeing here in our local real estate market. If you did, please do me that solid and tap that subscribe button below, like the video, and comment if you have any additional questions about new construction here in St. Augustine. If you need any further assistance, go ahead and reach out to me directly. I have a link below for Calendly where you can schedule a 30-minute Zoom appointment with me and we can go over everything you're looking to know about living in St. Augustine.